win.
Welcome back to In Black America Radio. This is your host, Rasta B, and it is July 24th, 2020. We're going to be talking about today's show title, I should say, is let's talk about why the black woman is quote-unquote unprotected. Guest calling number 516-531-9992. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that. I'm waiting for a co-host to come to patch in. But until then, we're gonna talk about that. That's dealing with the whole Meg the Stallion and all that other stuff like that. So we're going to build on that shit. And you know what else we're going to talk about? For the ones who want some information, we might even talk about some of this stock shit too. Because, we got to get that information out. You know what I'm saying? But before I continue, let's go ahead and do this. Smoke, is you there?
Yo.
Break it down, man. It's Friday. How your day?
Shit, I was off today, so it was a pretty good day. I've just been looking at these stocks. I heard you mentioning that shit. That's pretty much all I was doing all day. You know that. I enjoyed the day. I ain't complaining too much. Big Friday.
Nah, I feel you on that shit, man. I can't wait till I'm able just to damn be in the crib and shit, just worrying about the stocks and shit instead of having to work and do that shit. You know what I mean?
So I'm at work, but I ain't getting paid. So I'm on the furlough, so it's a good and bad. I get a chance to kind of like examine just money making stuff, and more throughout. You know what I mean? Like I've been having a day off a week for furloughs for like the last 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to take that. And, you know what I'm saying? On those days, usually I relax, try not to even have much to think about. But, I've been trying to, like, keep up with, like, the stocks and just news and, just try to use it as a day for myself, you know what I'm saying, to kind of, like, build myself up or whatever. Since I got a little money, then I might as well try to build something else up. So, today I was just mostly just chilling and looking at, stock information, and stuff like that.
Yeah, what stocks you got on your mind that you're looking at on your watch list or whatnot?
Lately it's just been a lot of Tesla stuff. You know what I mean? Watching the up and down with that, the earnings coming out, and, now they trying to accuse, the Tesla of their accounting practices. So I found that interesting. Because it seemed like the stock was kind of going to take off. Well, it's already been taking off. I mean, since I've been watching it, it's like went from, it was I seen it in the 300s. I didn't really start trading it or whatever until it was like 900. So like from this whole 900 ride to 1700 down, back and forth. It's been real volatile the last week or so. Like dips here, you know what I mean? So that was interesting, but AMD, that was a stock that you initially put me on to. I see they had a big jump today because of Intel. Intel and their earnings was horrible, and so now all of the other chip makers, their stock price is affected by it. So it's just interesting how the news is really moving things. Like, maybe I ain't pay attention as much before. But it's like the news is like really moving things.
So no. The news always. The news always control the market. Yeah.
AMD is like it's funny because it was like with the Tesla, the earnings it was like, well, the stock price don't really jump depending on whether they make earnings or not. Whether their earnings was positive, the outlook of it, because they want to be included in the S&P 500. So they had to make some sort of, I forget what it's called, but they had to do that for 4 straight quarters. And so this quarter would have been the 4th straight one. So now they're trying to say, like, Tesla cooking the books to try to get on the S&P 500. So, if you were just looking at it, you was probably thinking, like, the stock price might be going to jump this week. But then there's a whole bunch of other factors, like a lot of negative news that's coming out about them that's driving the price down. People starting to, sell it off. They start selling it off, and then, you know how that goes.
That negative
another one. Been watching that. What else we got on there? I was looking at, the NIO, NIO, Chinese car company. I got a few other ones on there I was looking at.
Inside joke. But, I'm looking at, obviously AMD. I really was fooling with them since $20-something a share, $24 a share. Then I got out, and I jumped back in when the everybody got scared of the market, and it had dipped in March. So I had brought it at $38, and I had brought Prudential at $38. And both of them is over $60, like damn near $70. AMD is damn near $70, I want to say, and Prudential I think is like
68 or something like that.
Yeah, and what's another one I got that's good? The one that's
Pfizer.
bad, yeah. Fucking Pfizer, yeah. I try to jump in Pfizer and shit for the since they got that deal with the government. And I played it too early, you know what I'm saying? Like I should have waited, obviously. You can't think, time don't go back, you know what I'm saying? You can't play it backwards. So, that shit fucking fell like a couple of dollars. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm still good in that market though. But yeah, that's the whole shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just moving it because ultimately, I was talking to my sister, and she and her man have started an investment group. So we're going to be talking about getting properties and shit like that. And just a general idea, you know what I'm saying, getting tenants that's, all Section 8 tenants, all government shit, you know what I'm saying, where every month, that check coming in, regardless, you know what I'm saying, I'm an artist. And get that bread, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to be looking into all of that shit. I'm going to keep that all posted. But yeah, that's the plan right now, Smoke. That's the plan. And on top of that, black people, man, we're gonna need housing, and it's a shortage of housing, and you know what I'm saying. We gotta be protected. So I'm like, let me jump into that field.
Yeah, I mean the housing market should be, falling somewhat next year, so should be a nice time to. Find properties for a good amount.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to get my bread up.
That's dope.
That's what I'm trying to get my bread up. Yep. Do not let this market fool you, because I will be cashing all out before all this shit is over. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to get into this damn property shit now, because I need something monthly that's going to give me income, and something that's I know I can continue my plan with. You know what I'm saying? I'll just stop right there with that. But just to get back into the theme of the show, though, are you familiar with the whole Megan Thee Stallion and what's up the short dude? What's his name? Tory Lanez. Yeah.
Wow.
That story.
Yeah, I see that. I seen that cool shit.
Sucker shit. Yeah, I thought maybe he was showing off the gun and it went off an accident, but now they talking like he shot on some domestic violence shit. I'm like, like I didn't even know they was fucking dealing with each other. I'm out of touch from that era. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I ain't really know that either. It was surprising when I heard it. Like, oh, she she messed with that cat, but it was like the story that I was hearing was like, you know, yeah, same shit, domestic violence. He was, you know, that for some reason they get into an argument about some shit and it supposedly got physical. And he supposedly shot her because she was out physically, you know.
Yeah, which I can see. He a tiny dude. He a tiny dude. You know what I'm saying? But she a big Texas, you know what I'm saying, shorty. So,
wow.
You know what I'm saying? But that's sucker shit, y'all. It's just like, you know, but yeah. But it's just funny to me though at the end of the day because now the story turning into this: Megan Thee Stallion was shot, then ridiculed. Here's why black women are so unprotected. This is the column, right, from Camilla Newton. So she goes, Megan Thee Stallion says she underwent surgery for gunshot wounds in Tory Lane's incident. When news broke recently that rapper Megan Thee Stallion was shot in the foot by her alleged boyfriend Tory Lanez after leaving a party at Kylie Jenner's mansion, complete with a viral video of Stallion limping from a vehicle, public reaction was disheartening to say the least. Rapper 50 Cent, who now is better known for internet trolling, posted a meme depicting Lanez shooting Stallion, which was sharing widely across. Oh, okay, talking about the whole fucking. Alright, this is a little angry little chick right here, obviously. In response, Stallion called out the jokesters with one heartbreaking tweet. Black women are so unprotected, and we hold so many things in to protect feelings of others without considering our own. I'm real life hurt and traumatized. Her statement resonated with black women across social media, prompting a fury of empathetic reactions from social media stars Roxanne Gay to Regina Gomez, and hearkening back to a Malcolm X quote from 1962 that still rings true today. The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. It was a reminder of similar cruel reactions to black women who have faced abuse in the recent past. Just last month, footage of a black woman being thrown into a dumpster and video of another black woman being knocked unconscious with a skateboard, both followed by virtual laughter from spectators, went viral, amplified the problematic pattern and the need to protect black women. Their laughter grew louder as she laid in the trash, crying and paralyzed with embarrassment. It's a feeling a lot of black women have learned to carve out space for at an early age. Note a Washington Area Women Foundation response by Mercy Chickawar. We're born into the sad reality that no one is going to protect or care for us. Similar to trash, society discards us. It happens every time a black girl is adultified, over-policed, denied an opportunity, and when we attempt to report a crime or assault, the disposal of black women and girls have been clearly documented since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm going to just put a pause right there, but since the beginning of time. Yo, my whole thing is this. That's my whole thing. I'm not gonna say whatever your opinion on life is your opinion on life, but my shit is this. Even me reading that quote or that little that little quote, that happens to black people, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just kills me how they over policed, and you know what I'm saying, their crimes is not like black men crimes is respected and heard and all kind of shit like that. No, this is a black people problem, you know what I'm saying? And instead of saying as black people we need to do dot 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 dot, no, there's a segment where we want to carve this shit out. Now we want to ignore the fact that since the 70s there was a whole system set up where it's like, oh, separate yourself from the man, black woman. You don't need the man, black woman. Push him away, and this is how we'll benefit you if you get rid of him. And then they grow up generation after generation with this attitude. Now it's, oh, we're unprotected. Duh, that was the damn whole purpose of the program. You know what I'm saying, folks? Like, that was the whole purpose, was for you to be
in the results.
Yeah, this is the results of all of that. But y'all still want to carry on with the template of the shit that you're complaining about. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit just it trips me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you walk around like I said that on one of the shows before. You walk around and you listen to the girls now. These chicks walking around talking, like, not chicks, but you know, these little girls. You know what I'm saying? Like these damn teenagers and shit. Suck my dick, suck my dick. They out there jumping in front of boys like they want to. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what the fuck is wrong with these girls? You know what I'm saying? Then so now you turn into these quote unquote savages and shit, and you walk around unladylike, unwomanlike, you know what I'm saying, not standing on your power of femininity. And then when the world now categorizes you as a certain way, and this is the end result of the treatment, now you want to scream, we're unprotected. But guess who's supposed to protect you? Them same men that you throw away. The same men that, you know what I'm saying, that it's retarded, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, because it's like, again, you're creating the atmosphere that you're complaining about. And that's what I see.
Yeah.
You know
my only problem with it is, because, I get, you know, what they might be trying to say or whatever, but my only problem about it is like she clearly using the situation to point the finger at men, when it was everybody that was making fun of Megan Thee Stallion and Tory situation. It was men and women that was making fun of that shit. So it's like to turn around and just try to like point that shit at like men because the word in here is clearly directly at men. But it was everyone that was making fun of.
Nobody made fun of Tupac when he got shot?
Always be.
You see what I'm saying? Come on, we got movies of the Wayne brothers making fun of black men being gangsters and getting shot. Like, let's not act like black men wasn't laughing stocks of crime and violence. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the shit that trips me out. Instead of saying these things that's happening to black people, this new narrative is to say, use the same shit that's happening to black men and take black men out and put black women and say, look what's happening to black women. Just like, yeah, that's the same shit that's happening to us. So why don't you just say black people?
We're all in the same boat.
We're in the same fucking boat, but you acting like this is some new shit to you. We've been going through this. Look, guess what? Now they stopping and frisking us. Yeah, that's the same shit we was complaining about. Like, what are you talking about? Why you acting like it's only happening to women? Like, come on, man. That's the shit that be killing me, you know what I'm saying? So when I be reading this shit, I'm like, talk to me about the new shit that's happening to you because you're a woman. Don't tell me the shit that's happening to me that's happening to you, and then say, but it's happening to you because you're a woman. I'm like, well, then why it's happening to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I just want to know what prompted that shooting. Like, because it wasn't just no argument. Like,
no,
I think
sucker
he put
shit.
hands on.
No, sucker shit.
That's enough. We
regardless,
know
it's sucker shit at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Send us the transcript. I want to hear exactly.
I wouldn't mind hearing. Yeah, I wouldn't mind hearing the play of the whole shit.
This is the goofy shit that be happening in our culture, and also that we put in focus on because everyone was talking about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you said, it's sucker shit. You know what I'm saying? Tory, keep your gun in your fucking waistband, nigga. Like, come on, boy.
At the same time, when they talk that cancel bullshit, you supposed to be like, I don't even want to hear shit from this goofy ass. You out here shooting girls and shit. Like, come on, man. Like, goofy shit. Like, come on, man. Like, that's the most goofy. Yeah, I wouldn't even want that on my name.
About, you know what I'm saying? Because when it happened, they started going in, like, because when he got booked or whatever, they started showing his booking information. And he was 5'2", 130 or something like that. Like, something crazy. Like, yo, this thing can't be 120, 110 pounds. Like, something crazy.
Yeah.
So then people started making fun of him. And as more details come out, they start making, run Ricky, run shit. Got Megan running down the alley and shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And a lot of that shit is funny, but it's like, this is the sucker shit that be going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, sucker shit. The best way you could put it.
Yeah, that's sucker shit. But you supposed to be dealing with that shit. You're not supposed to be crying about people's reaction off that shit. Deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? But on some Tory Lane shit, that's sucker shit. Like, again, I wouldn't even want that on my record of people Googling my name and something pops up. Rasta B shot this girl in an argument.
In the toe.
What?
In the toe.
I can't even explain the title. In her toe, yeah. I shot in her pinky toe. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, back up.
Shit makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sucker shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we already understand that. That's sucker shit.
But the male side is more so like, I was just gonna say like for the young men, even older men, people that's listening to that, you just gotta understand that you can't be governed by your emotions. Because whatever happened with it, emotions was involved. And as a man, you gotta walk away from that shit. You can't be reacting to what somebody's doing.
Exactly.
We understand that as a black man, you gotta protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? So we could understand him having a hammer. We could have him doing that. But when you pulling it out for things like that, you probably could just walk away from that or whatever the situation is. It's real reasons to bust your gun off instead of arguing with a girl. So we know that as a man, we know that women can take us over the edge. Not even trying to make her, blame it on the victim or whatever. But as a man, we understand that women can take us over the edge, say things to us, do shit to you to embarrass you. But as a man, you can't be governed by your emotions. So if you're looking at anything of that, there's a lot of jokes within it. But as a man, you gotta understand that when certain things are happening, even whether it's with your woman or even out in the streets, whatever. You can't react off your emotions, you know what I'm saying? So when you do that, shit like this happen, you know what I mean? That's a fucked up reason to go to jail for shooting your gun at somebody's toe, at a woman. Like, that's crazy.
Exactly.
Don't be emotional. Keep your gun on your hip for when you need it.
And you got to work on that. That's not something that's going to happen overnight. Yeah. That's not something that's going to, you got to work on that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you always have to work on to strengthen up, because a lot of this shit got bred out of us. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, I remember growing up, and I remember when this shit was, oh, it's okay to let boys be emotional. It's okay to let them, you know what I'm saying, do all this. It was like a whole push for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come here, let them cry, let them do this. And it's like, why y'all making these boys so soft? And now, when they come out there now and they get all fucking emotional and want to shoot a girl in the fucking foot, now you want to say, look at how men. That's not a man. That's some shit you created. You created that shit. I ain't no man.
Better you take your loss and go home. That's what a man does. Take his loss, go home.
That's it. Or not even that. Guess what? You know what a man would have did? He would have talked the whole shit around. That's it. It would have been verbal. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck out of here. And
Yeah.
Relax. One word. Just relax, yo. Megan, relax. Relax. Not even right here. Yo. Just relax. That's it. You ain't gotta pull out your gun. She would have been cool. Yo, smoke a spliff, yo. Just relax. The end. So that's why I'm just sitting over here and shit now. I'm just like sucker shit, you know? But let's go ahead and get a call in real quick.
Yeah, I can't even see that.
314-381.
You know, how y'all doing tonight?
What's going on?
That's a good question. But the reason why is because there aren't no men to the great extent. You got some males.
Yeah.
And really, women are complaining about what they effectively raised themselves. And they're complaining about it. You know, you have to teach your young men, your young males, how they supposed to carry on around a female. I mean, something, you know, my wife never had to get out of the car and open the door herself. I came around and opened the door for her. Opened the door when she got ready to go into a restaurant. When she came to sit down, she stood at a table place, and I brought the chair up behind her, and she sat down. If she wanted to scoot forward, I helped her scoot forward. I sat down. If she had to get up, I took my my napkin off my neck, and I stood up while she got up. And when she came back, I stood up and done the whole procedure all over again. So that's the way that's the ideal way to do it, if you want to really lay it down. But wouldn't you like for your daughter to be treated that way?
I feel me.
Then you got some of these women out here that's looking for the same thing that the males are looking for. And they just as rough and tough looking. And you confused on how you address them. You don't know whether to say sir or ma'am. I mean, it's very difficult. It's stressful.
You know?
So if you're not raising them, don't expect them to just all of a sudden appear. It just don't work that way. You have to put time and effort into something that's going to be outstanding.
And I agree with that. And I always say that too, because I feel like people think that they have a child and the child just miraculously turn into this great person that you want them to be. And it's like, no, you have to instill that. So you have to do this from day one, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's funny because another thing that you said that I agree with is these women is complaining about the males they created. And it's the funniest shit because it's like, even when the man's in the house, they will fight the man to have control how they want to raise these boys, just so they can grow up and complain about them. Not even realizing you're sending these same boys to somebody else's daughter. And it's just like, come on, he's handicapped. That's a handicapped boy over there. So now he's grown, and he can deal with responsibility. He can deal with, so now he's playing the role of a man. So then it becomes, well, I got to do this because I'm a man. I got to do this because I'm like he's a robot. And it's like, you're not even understanding what you're supposed to do. And then now we got everybody out here lost. And it's like, then the title of man gets disrespected. And the title of woman gets disrespected. Because these people that's wearing the title, they don't really know what they're doing. And it's just like, it's chaos. But you got to start with the youth. And that's why I instill that shit into my sons. Because I'll be like, I want them, like I tell them from day one, y'all going to be better versions of me. You know what I'm saying? So when whatever I learned now at 39, y'all going to be learning that at 5 and 7.
Yeah.
That way, by the time y'all get older, y'all going to be more mature. You know what I'm saying?
Take your daughter.
Yeah, y'all going to be more mature and stuff like that.
Take them to
take them to adequate
school. So when they sit down and they out someplace nice, they don't take the finger bowl and drink out of it. That's for you to wash your fingers off. You don't. Your silverware is supposed to be used in a certain order. When your steak comes, you don't douse it with salt and pepper. First, you taste it and see if it's seasoned to your liking. Then you add what you need. People look for those things in the know.
Right. That's interesting.
And when you're eating spaghetti, you don't put spaghetti on the fork and hold it about 2 feet over your head and suck it down. But anyway, I wanted to add to that. If you're not creating, don't expect it to come in the mail. You gotta. It takes a lot to create a for real man.
That's a great way to put it.
If you don't create that man, then it suffers your neighborhood. Your neighborhood suffers. And then you get another generation of non-male that's able to protect the neighborhood and the household and the wife, the female. It's just repeated over and over again. You know, that's another thing. If we had real men in the community, them fools in Chicago wouldn't be running buck wild like they are.
Nope.
See, real men would take care of that problem. You wouldn't have to bring the military in. Real men would take care of that problem. But unfortunately, they are lacking today. But anyway, y'all, have a nice evening.
All right, take care, okay.
All right, later, Pete.
Yeah, that's totally correct. You know what I'm saying? That's totally correct.
Man, no.
And it's like,
man, no.
You said, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, man up. But I mean, he just made a great point. You know what I'm saying? The greatest point is like we in a woke era. So you hear people talking about the communities and how we are missing this. Self-policing now that we want to defund the police. And he made a point. It's like, we got weak men that's running around. How can we do that? You know what I'm saying? The communities is weak as that's one of the, the results of having weak men is what's happening right now. So it's
but like I said,
that was a great point.
That's definitely a great point. But then we gotta get to the origin. Because the thing that kills me
exactly. It all goes back.
You got to go back to the origin because what kills me is when people talk about these weak men and these terroristic black kids shooting shit up. They're not imported from Mars. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't like these is refugees from fucking Somalia that was let loose in the streets, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, where the fuck these niggas came from? They just shooting up the block. Where the police at? You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah.
They go back to your house. You know who the kid, you know who their mother is, you know what I'm saying? Like come on, man. So these are
another problem we can control that we're gonna blame on, some weird factor. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. In this case we we made the point of, the origins, but it's like there's always some excuse as to what's happening. Like we don't keep it honest with ourselves. And that's just one of those things where if you really look at it and just take, because, it's something, people don't want to admit, like when your child is running wild, you don't want to admit that it's you. You don't never hear the parents be like, I'm a fucked up parent. You don't never hear that shit. So it's like a lot of people, they don't want to admit that shit. So it's like, you don't make every excuse. But if you take that away, like, just take the embarrassment away of being a fucked up parent, you're going to see that shit. It's like you creating a kid that's out there. And then it's like you're going to turn around and complain about it and make it some other factor. The daddy ain't here, the government did this, they don't got after school care. But your kid is just a rude motherfucker. Like, so you can just teach him in the house. Like, come on, son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And let's talk about that.
We got to take more responsibility for the things that we can control that's going wrong with us. You know what I'm saying? And so, if anything, that's something you take from that.
If you sit there now and you got your seed and I'm talking about, this is a black woman and raising boys, right? Don't bring these bitches in my house, these hoes and all kinds, you know what I'm saying? And downgrading men and your daddy ain't shit and you ain't shit and all this other, you know what I'm saying? That's the same dudes that be out here kidnapping these women. That's the same dude that's shooting up in the crowd. That's the same dude that's getting all the girls pregnant and shit like that and leaving. So it's just like, come on. When you take responsibility and you say to yourself, you know what? Let me start now. I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for my lineage. And I'm going to start now. And I'm going to put that right here. And do what I got to do, you know what I'm saying, to further my bloodline. Because at the end of the day, there's no solution. You understand what I'm saying? To changing the quality. Let's use that word, Smoke. The quality of black men, right? Because one, we don't got an economy. I'm gonna always go back to economy. Because we don't have an economy, the black man is like an eagle that can't stretch his wings. You know what I'm saying? That's like in a narrow hallway. So every time he gets ready to open up, it's like he can't open it, so he got to close that shit. So it's like as you do that, you end up getting a generation of eagles that is comfortable not opening this wing. You see what I'm saying? So then when you create that,
lose the ability.
They lose that ability. So then when you create that, and then you have the woman eagle that's like, oh, why these eagles ain't protecting me from the rest of the damn? Yeah, but look what y'all create. Y'all, it's a cycle. This is a fact. This is all on purpose. We're dealing with the end results of something from the 70s that was started. You see what I'm saying? From the damn projects and shit like that, when the situation was set up where it's like the man couldn't be inside there for you to get the assistance, the public assistance shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Once you start setting that shit up, this is the end result. Now Chinese people choking out black women. You see what I'm saying? Now Arabs inside there fucking them little girls and shit in the corner stores and shit for little cigarettes and all kind of shit like that. You see, now you're quote unquote unprotected. Why? Because you're following into their system, and the end result is for you to be unprotected and to be attacked and exploited. So then the mistake is, well, black woman, you're unprotected. What's the problem? The problem is the black man. The black man, he isn't protected. No. That's not the problem. Let's get into it, Smoke. Let's get into the black man real quick. So this is from July 21st, 2020. It's called The Conversation, right? This is Shervin Asari, Associate Professor of Family Medicine, Charles R. Drew, University of Medicine and Science, and T.J. Curry, Professor of Philosophy, Personal Chair of African Philosophy and Black Male Studies, University of Edinburgh. The title, Black Men Face High Discrimination and Depression even as their education and income rise. So it goes, are you a highly educated and relatively wealthy black man in the United States? Studies that we have done and also those by others show that you are at an increased risk of discrimination and depression. Our research on the intersection of race and gender in the United States shows that while education and income reduces the risk of discrimination and depression for whites and black women, this is not the case for black men. This underscores other research we have done that suggests black men are especially singled out as dangerous, threatening, and inferior. So, they talk about one study. In the National Study of American Life study, black boys from the wealthiest families were the most depressed. In study 2, it showed in the study that followed 1,200 black and white people for 25 years, the black men, the highest educational credentials were associated with an increase rather than a decrease in depressive symptoms. And look, and as we talk about this, right, Smoke, think about the number one depressed person out there on TV right now. It's Kanye, right? Study 3. In a nationally representative sample of U.S. adult black men with the highest income have the highest risk of depression, specifically major depressive disorder. We also found that interpersonal discrimination or people discriminating one-on-one was not a reason. They said study 4. In another study, 700 black adolescents were followed for 2 decades in Flint, Michigan. Perceived racial discrimination was measured in 1999 and 2002. We found discrimination during adolescence was the predicator of depressive symptoms from adulthood to decades later. But this was the case for black males, not black females. Study 5. In that same study in Flint, we found that an increase in perceived neighborhood fear, defined as being scared of the crime and violence in the neighborhood, was associated with an increase in depressive symptoms of black males, but not black females. Study 6. Our final research was studying implicit bias, or when people without the conscious knowledge hold stereotypes of others. Our study applied data of the Implicit Association Test, IAT, which measures how our brain struggles to match black faces with positive terms. Of nearly 450,000 individuals, we found that white men hold high implicit bias against black people than white women do. This is troubling because white men have the highest level of political power and make up of the majority of police, judge, lawyers, and people who make hiring and promotion decisions. White men are also most likely to be the ones who write the rules and the laws. Implicit bias is still bias, and it could be affecting black men's depression. And then they talk about black men being singled out and black men issues being overlooked. Right? All right. So, yeah, let me do the black men issues being overlooked real quick. Unfortunately for us all, it has primarily been the dead black male body that drives our understanding of racism against black men and boys in the United States. Yes, racism stalks black men every day of their lives, dehumanizing them, decreasing their quality of life, and even shortening their lives. Black men lives on average 4 fewer years than white men. Efforts to escape racism effects such as gaining education and earning more money force them to question their own worth. We believe solutions. Okay, then begin to that shit. So the reason why I wanted to get into that was to say this, right? So now after listening to that, Smoke, right? Now, that's the type of black men that's supposed to be protecting black women?
Well, man.
You see what I'm saying? A beat down, depressed, questioning his worth, can't use his full function. You know what I'm saying?
From boys. It started from being a boy. So it's not like you reach a certain wall as a man and then, you had that, depressed stage in your 30s or something, you didn't get where you needed to be, and you're depressed
Right.
or something. It's like, no, these studies are showing that they start from being a young boy.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't really even get a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Secondly, second thing I really thought of was like, the article was about, really pointing at highly educated and relatively wealthy black men.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna be depressed being in that category automatically because it ain't a lot of you.
Exactly.
So, it's like being able to reach out and touch wealth of people in that same category. All your friends might be in the categories below you. You might be the only person in your cipher who, people you came up with who in that, class of educated and wealthy.
Yeah,
so it's like
look
that
at the Kanye
shit.
But look at the Kanye shit, right? Look how depressed and how he bugging out. He depressed. They calling it bipolar. No, the nigga depressed, right? Now watch this. Who went out there to see him when he went to Wyoming?
Little rappers.
Nah, think about it. Dave Chappelle flew out there, right? Who else?
I don't remember the exact people.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle flew out there. Then they had a picture with him, Dave Chappelle, and Dame Dash, right? I said, that's interesting. Because Kanye is in an interracial marriage. Huh?
No, I was trying to think where you were going with it.
Yeah. He's in an interracial marriage. Dave Chappelle is in an interracial marriage. And Dame Dash is in an interracial marriage. So it's funny that they all came together and shit to talk like, y'all, like to get out. You know what I'm saying? His nose bleeding. He out there spazzing and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been trying to get the boss. They won't let me leave. You know what I'm saying? He's spazzing and shit. So then the people that's in interracial relationships and shit, they said, let's go out there. We know how you feel, guy. we all get there. So we have this support group. You know what I'm saying? Some shit like that.
Right.
But yeah, he's spazzing this shit. You know what I'm saying? But it shows again. Look how much bread he got. Look at his status. Just to get back into that. Look at his status. Look how much bread he got. Right? But the higher he gets up, look at the depression and his worth and shit. And what I feel like, even reading the article, is a number one issue that black people have. The number one issue that black people have, we keep comparing ourselves to white people. You see? We keep on, and we don't realize that shit. When you do that, like you're working against yourself. When you do that. You see what I'm saying? You don't compare yourself to white people. And then you don't even understand when you look at these studies, and I can prove that shit, right? Maybe one day I'll break it all the way down. But when you look at these studies and shit like that, and they're talking about, black people to white people and the gap between black people to white people and all that shit like that, they talking about rich and well-off white people is being compared to all the black people, whether you're rich or you're poor. That's how they do that study. So they're looking at lower middle class blacks, and they're being compared to you know what I'm saying, higher paid fucking whites. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, look at the gap between this one and that. And it's just like, yeah, we're you know what I'm saying? These are managers. You know what I'm saying? And we working for these people, so of course we're not getting the same pay and shit like that. How do you solve that shit? That's economy. And I always say the importance of the economy shit is this, and we're going to show it with the whole protection of the black woman. Now, the whole economy shit is this. When you're making and you're producing shit, and you're competing in the world, right? Economics, right? Now we can talk economics. You cannot talk economics if you don't have an economy, right? Now we have an economy. We're making, we're producing shit, we're trading, right? We got business now. Now you got black men, you got black women that's business people in our communities. Now, when we're paying these politicians and shit like that for less tax or loans or, whatever, what I'm saying, the game is that you're playing that's going to benefit your business, which end up benefiting and strengthening our the black economy, right? What that does is now all these black men and black women out here in the streets, instead of them trying to figure out how to make $1, they can just apply for a job. Now, them applying for a job when they go to these schools and shit like that, and they can work because you can get hired within the black economy, now that strengthens the black family. So now that strengthens the black family, the black woman and the black man, they don't have animosity against each other. There's no animosity because guess what? When they decide, okay, they're together, they start in a family, they go to the black bank, guess what they could get when they go to a black bank? So, guess what they could get in this make-believe I created? A loan, right? They don't got to worry about this discrimination and, I can't. Because you have, what, a job. Your job could be making cars. Just like you said with the NIO stock, right? NIO stock is electric company, electric car shit, right? They're a Chinese version of Tesla. Just like Samsung is a Chinese version of Apple. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Chinese do. They always make a bootleg version of something that the Americans is doing. So that's what black people should be doing, the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, why we can't make a fucking car? Why we can't make this or create that or control this or control that? Why we always have to think as workers? When we think as workers, this is what happened. So here you go, Smoke. I don't have an economy. I'm a worker. So now that I'm working, guess what? I got a job, and my woman, she better get a job too, because I need help with these bills. You see what I'm saying? Now, when I come home now, I'm stressed, she's stressed. We argue, we fighting. If I lose my job, she mad because she got to pay up all the bills. You see what I'm saying? Now, I don't need you because the laws say I can get paid without you here. Get out of my house. Children is watching us. Children growing up under these, because it's not the conditions, Smoke. That's what people got to understand. It's the rules of this new game. It's the rules. So now the rule is, little black boy, you have no worth and no value. So then it becomes, little black girl, you can exploit these little black boys. So then as that rule and game played out, then it became, little black boys and little black girls, y'all equal. Whatever one can do, the other could do. Then a new rule came out where the little black boy said, well, if a girl is equal to a boy, then that means I can fight a girl. And some mothers was promoting that. Then you start seeing these little black boys straight up attacking and fighting girls like boys. So this whole shit didn't just happen overnight. These things happen by design. That's the point that I'm making. These shits happen by design. So then you end up getting a little Tory Lanez who got his little gun and he got to shoot the girl because, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Because by the time he's born, manhood and masculinity is already bred out of him. He's like them little dogs, the little tiny dogs that the chicks like. Tory Lanez is like some little tiny. He's like a miniature man. He's bred down to a little tiny man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like this is what God created.
Some broken home type shit. So
you say he's some what?
I said, if I ain't mistaken, he grew up in some broken home type shit. You know, bouncing around homes type shit. You know, if I can remember this interview he had did that I watched a while back. So it's like when you ain't got no parental structure, then you don't. There's no economy to feed you. You know what I mean? You this is what it equal out to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we don't realize that part. We don't realize, and that's why I always go back to economy, because we don't realize the importance of us having an economy and how not having an economy creates these issues around us. And instead of us dealing with the major problem, which is us not having an economy, we want to deal with the byproducts. Oh, we're unprotected. Guess what? We're all unprotected. We all out here unprotected. It ain't just you. It ain't just you. So I was reading as we're coming down to the end, I was reading another page out of Carlos Cook's Black Nationalism, right? Before I read that, I wanted to read Booker T. Washington again. So Booker T. Washington have this quote that I love to read, and it goes, "There is a class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because he does not want to lose his income." Right? I'm going to tell you why I read that in a minute. So, where do I start? Yeah, so it goes. On one side, we have naive Negroes not politically mature enough to realize that they are being used as a butt of a cruel joke. In an international maneuver of the great power play, the naive Negro is used for the psychological advantage to America in relation to its influence on the colored world. This is coupled with the fact that the so-called Negroes seem to be fascinated with the asinine obsession of integration with white people, even against their will. No matter how repugnant the Negro presence may be to white society, if the law compels the whites to consort and fraternize with the so-called Negro, all the Negro's racial problems would be solved. A very pathetic state of affairs indeed, but it is nonetheless true. There was a case in Alabama where a 26-year-old black girl braved the scorn of a mob of 3,000 wild-eyed, stone-throwing whites for the privilege of attending the all-white University of Alabama. Her position was appalled by the so-called Negro press as that of the righteous crusader. Her position was applauded, by the so-called Negro press as that of the righteous crusader. The unfortunate circumstances confronted the so-called Negro can be attributed to the fact that he is being used as a tool by a gang of Machiavellian schemers operating from the north, led by white people, with a regular retinue of house niggas fronting as leaders. These scoundrels have no program to offer the masses of black people, but hold up before the myopic focus of frustrated Negroes, the degenerate mirage of miscegenation, social equality, and integration with white people. Nor can it be said in their favor that they have ever shown any measure of sincerity in attempting to improve the conditions affecting the masses. Actually, the members of the clique have very little affinity with the black race. Ideologically, this band of parasites have a bastard complex with their which they dramatize whenever the opportunity presents itself. They marry white women, or second best, move into little white neighborhoods, far, far away from the black masses that they claim to love so well. On the other side, we have the white people who, for many centuries, have been unduly impressed with their own importance to such an extent that they actually believe that they have a definite mandate to regulate the affairs of all. In connection, we see them teaching blacks to see God in a white man's image. They further offer to the naive so-called Negro the white woman as the symbol of feminine beauty. Naturally, they claim a monopoly on all the intelligence in the world, right or wrong, and based on their interpretation to suit their convenience. It is noble and right for them to be patriotic to their cause, race, and country. When the black man feels the same sentiment, he is a wrong, dangerous troublemaker who must be jailed. Thus, it is safe to say that if the so-called Negro is to get along with the white man in America, he will have to get along with him on the white man's own terms. Now, that's Carlos Cook, right? And the reason why I had read the Booker T. Washington quote first is because Carlos Cook comes from Marcus Garvey camp. And I always say, Booker T. Washington wrote Up From Slavery. That book inspired Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey came to America to look for Booker T. Washington after reading the book, but Booker T. Washington was already dead. That's what inspired Marcus Garvey to start the UNIA. Carlos Cook comes from Marcus Garvey's camp. That's why what he said about these parasites and these scoundrels and these so-called black leaders that just come down, they don't have nothing to give the black people. They just use their bodies, their energy, their plights, and they gain from us. And again, this was written in maybe the 50s. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, maybe the 50s or the early. Let me see. Do I got a year on this? Yeah, this might have been written like in the 50s or something, or So the whole point again, it's like, ain't nothing changing. It's the same shit. You know what I'm saying, Smoke? It's the same shit. Now, after Marcus Garvey, like I said, Carlos Cook, out of Marcus Garvey, that's Elijah Muhammad. That's Malcolm X now. So when people disrespect Booker T. Washington, it bugs me out because I'm like, Booker T. Washington is the grand poobah because he's the one that birthed all of these people. He birthed all of them. He birthed the greats. Everybody who we consider greats, that came from the lineage of Booker T. Washington. Why? Because Booker T. Washington inspired Marcus Garvey. Not W.E.B. Du Bois. See, we have the only way, again, for black women to be, black men, black to be protected, we have to have an economy, because we have to be able to take care of ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, we are subjugated to the rules of everybody else, not just the white man. See, when Carlos Cook is talking about the white man, that's because that's when he's dealing with the issues of the white man. We're not dealing with the issues of the white man. I know that's just shocking. I know y'all probably like, what the fuck is that? No, man, the white man is not our enemy. All of these people is our enemy. Black people. It ain't just the white people that's exploiting us, and we ain't the only one that's being exploited. You see, we have to understand what the game is. This is competition. You know what I'm saying? So once you understand that, then it's time for you to get up. You be like, I bet. So that's what the game is? I bet. All right. So let me go ahead and handle it like this. Here's how I'm going to protect myself. But no, the bigger heads keep telling us we have to change people's ideologies. If we take away their statues, if we make them don't do this, if we make them don't do that, that don't mean shit, because they control the economy. That's what matters. We don't control the economy. We are workers, so we have to ask. We have to beg. We have to scream and bitch and moan and complain, because that's what powerless people do. Smoke.
Yo. Yeah, I'm here. I'll let you rock out and shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, that as long as we not making income for ourselves, nobody gonna give it to us. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can label people what we want. They are enemies, they are friends, they possible whatever you want to think. But if we're not making money for ourselves, we always gonna be subject to everyone else. Whatever rules they want to put in play, whatever economic downfalls they have. Like, everything that's going on in the economy, that's not our fault. We ain't have shit to do with that. But guess what? We subject to it because we don't have a way or a route that we bring in money. So we subject to it. Right. So people on the sidelines right now, because they company ain't managed correctly and had to fire them. Mm-hmm. They wasn't ready for a pandemic and had to cut them loose. So it's like, as long as we don't have money or things coming in for ourselves, then we subject to everything else, everybody else's economy, everybody else's rules and regulations and shit like that.
Learn that game. So learn the game.
It's like it's basically what it all comes down to. You know what I mean?
I gotta say, this is what I want everybody to do. Get a piece of paper and a pen, pencil, whatever. Write down Denny's, DENN, $9 a share. Go cop it. Story about Denny's. So I'm not one of them go out and eat type people, right, Smoke? I ain't, I make my own goddamn pancakes. You know what I'm saying? But I always pass Denny's on my way to work, right? Years ago. So at the time, it was like we coming out the recession or something like that. I can't remember, but I know Denny's stock, it might have been like $1 a share, some shit like that. And I'm like, Denny's, like, damn, I don't know, should I invest in Denny's? You know, I'm bad with that retail shit because I don't be out there. I'm not a consumer like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out there eating at these restaurants and all kind of stuff like that. So next thing I know, I'm seeing more people eating at the Denny's and shit, whatever. I said, damn, these white people really love and support Denny's and shit. And I remember Denny's is, they used to be, they used to discriminate against blacks and shit in the 90s. So Denny's stock went from $2 or $3 or whatever to like 14, 15, 19, 20. I'm like, damn, I should have put my money in fucking Denny's. So when I seen it at $9, I was like, oh, okay. And then I just seen another that they hiring, doing a big hiring type shit. And I know if they do that hiring type shit, oh, they're gonna run into Denny's. So I'm like, you know what? I might have to drop a little something in Denny's. So that's a little jewel for you people. And if you don't believe me, just write it down and look at it in another month. And then you could be like, oh shit, he was right. But the whole point is, yo, you can't stop at nothing. You gotta do what you gotta do. We have to figure out ways to control aspects of our racial group. For the people out there that want to know, like, what you want to do. Only thing I know how to do is like get into the music or act or some shit like that. No, there's a whole lot of other industries. And look within your racial group and say to yourself, where we lacking? We lacking in damn near everything, right? So then you say to yourself, okay, what's one of our complaints right now? Food. Oh, okay. So guess what? Let me get in control of all of the damn the food part in the black community. Let me get control of all the food. Let me get in control of the retail plazas, because there's gonna be another recession. Stack your bread and put that shit on the side, because guess what? When this is the pattern of white people. The economy builds up, the economy crashes. Then the economy builds up, then the economy crashes. So you have to say to yourself, next time this economy crashes, I want to make sure I got my shit together so I can capitalize. Because if you can get retail property because the recession hits and a bubble pops and nobody paying their shit and all that paperwork of nobody paying their mortgages and nobody paying all of this shit, and they hiding all that paperwork, when all of that catches up and everything come crashing, you got two sides of America that you could be on. You could be on the side of America crying because you lost all your wealth. Or you could be on the side of America where you're like, but I'm about to buy up all this cheap property. And that's how we got to be, black people.
One side or the other. The winning side or the losing side. Basically.
That's it, man. We got to learn the capitalist again. Don't cry. Learn the games. And because we don't learn the game, go ahead.
That's the main thing with a lot of the narrative that you hear. It's more so centered around the complaining. And so, like, the people, they attach on to that and they complain. And, it's like, we have years and decades of nothing actually happening. I mean, the things that, you was pointing out with Carlos Cooks and, the other quotes you was going over, these are figures from years ago. And so it's like what they were saying then still relates now. So it means that there's not anything happening. That means then the narrative of, the people that's, the so-called leaders, the people that's, touching the masses, they're not really putting you on to that information. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to you to dig in and find those, those resources and, find out things. But, it's just like, it's sad that, we in that state. You know what I mean? It's like, and we don't realize it. It's like we don't realize what we have to do. It's like, the complaining, it's like we could do that for years and just continue to keep doing it. And we're not going to have, we still own, what is it, 1% of 1% of America as well? Like that shit, that number still never changed. So it's like, what we're going to do, like, that means we have to change.
What's this? The overall purpose of UNIA are Universal Organization of the African/Black People, Racial Unity, Universal Emancipation of the African/Black People, Racial Freedom, Redemption of the Continent of Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad, racial security and dignity. The United States of Africa, a black superpower capable of protecting and defending the lives and human rights of the African/Black people all over the world. So when black women ask the question that they're unprotected, they're the most unprotected, why are we talking about byproducts? Black children is unprotected also. Black men is unprotected. Why are we talking about byproducts? Why are we not talking about the real problem, which is we don't have an economy and we are dependent on people for food, clothing, shelter as a race globally. As a race globally. So that's the problem. We want to be pawns on the chess board. We don't want to be major players. We don't want to compete. We don't want to elevate, because everybody starts somewhere. But you're not supposed to stop and get stuck there. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to. And that's where we are at. That's how I feel. That's where we're at. We're in the part where we're just stuck. We're comfortable. Just like Carlos Cook said, as long as white people they give them the rules and the law saying that you have to fraternize and be cordial and nice to us, as long as you do that, all the racial issues is over. Now we good. And that's how we are. And just like, we don't have shit. We still got to work. We still, every time, now you retire, Smoke, but then you have to look at your son and say, all right, now go get you a good degree and go out there and get you a good job. Yeah, but it's like, damn. Then when if he gets it, now he got to tell that to his child. And it's like, damn, so nobody building nothing? We just workers? Like, we don't even see the importance, you know what I'm saying, of the takeovership. We don't remember that Telemundo was not a big major news media Latino outlet. That shit was Telemundo was like BET back in the day.
Yeah, that shit was on them.
You know what I'm saying? That shit was like BET back in the day. Like one channel,
the fuzzy channel.
The fuzzy channel type shit, you know what I'm saying? But you see, you got to say to yourself, what about, and that's what I always try to explain to people, when you hear me talking about other races of people and all kind of shit like that, I'm not saying it like on no jealousy shit like, oh, Latinos is fucked up for trying to strengthen their race. Not hell no. Chinese is fucked up for trying to strengthen their race. Hell no. Whites is fucked up for trying to strengthen their race. Hell no. Everybody's supposed to strengthen their race. Everybody's supposed to strengthen their group. Everybody's supposed to want to win. You know what I'm saying? My frustration is black people are sitting back eating popcorn, looking at everybody else getting strong and shit, and I'm just like, yo, why are we not trying to compete? Why are we not trying to dominate? That's how you answer the question of protection. Oh, why the black woman isn't protected? Because we don't have an economy to protect nobody, to shield us from nothing. So we can't grow and bubble. Just like we were saying with Pianki, with the children. How can you grow and bubble and develop these quality of men and quality of women, right? When you live in a community that's fucking destroyed. You know what I'm saying? That's totally destroyed now. And why is the community destroyed? Because the people just wanted to destroy their community? No. It's destroyed economically. These are economically depressed communities. That's what the ghetto is. The ghetto is an economically depressed community. That's what it is. You have a community of people living where the minimum income might be $19,000, and you got some communities right now telling me that's too high. You got some communities right now telling me that's too high.
How much you say?
Huh?
What you say? What you say?
I said you got some communities out here that the medium income is $19,000 a year. And I said in some communities they're saying that's too high. They wish they could get $19,000 a year. You dig what I'm saying? So when you got a community like that, you got some communities, the teen unemployment rate is 97%, 80% for the youth. All of that is economics. And like I said, black people cannot have a conversation about economics because we don't have an economy. And because we don't have an economy, we can't have a conversation about economics. That's us having a conversation about somebody else's economy when we talk about economics. That's why you always hear us saying what we want the white man to give us. The white man need to give us this. The white man need to give us that. Because we talking about his pockets. See, I ain't got no money, Smoke. But you do. So if you give me $100, then I'll be able to do this and do that, man. Just look out for me. It's like, yo, don't base your plan on my pockets. You know what I'm saying? Don't base that shit. Don't talk your way into a loan that I didn't agree to. Like, fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that's what ended up happening. Because guess what? If I got a plan, or if I have a product that's sellable, right? I know how to make beer, right? I can go to you and sell you beer. And guess what you're going to give me? Money. You see? Then you can walk to a bank. Then you can walk to a bank and talk about a loan. You see what I'm saying? If you already have a relationship and established, because when they say a relationship, they're just saying that you had your account open there long enough and with with money constantly flowing into the account before they talk about, loaning you bread type shit. But again, you got to crawl before you walk. You do that, you establish your business and things of that nature. Shit, move your shit to a black bank. Move your shit to a black bank.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying?
Black economics, man. It's the only way that's gonna happen for us.
They take it over.
Gonna give us shit. Nobody's just gonna give us nothing, man. We already done seen it. Like, how long we gonna beg and plead any of these groups to, do the right thing? It's like, that shit has been going on forever. The only way we're gonna do it is do it ourselves, and we're gonna pretty much tell you how to do it. Black economics. And there's a process. It's not like tomorrow, you're going to wake up and, you snap your fingers and work hard for 2 weeks and it's going to happen. It's like, nah, you made the benefits, the full benefits of it might not even be realized during your lifetime. It's just that individually, we got to take the steps individually to strengthen ourselves, then strengthen our family. And then we could go from there and strengthening our business, which would be, creating these industries basically that we can capitalize off of. Some of the industries are already existing. You pointed to just making a black version of all the other white companies or white products, Chinese products. Kitchenware. Fucking spoons, utensils, paper plates, things like that. Those industries are already there. But, as black people, we creative. So it's going to be industries that, in the midst of doing that, we're going to create industries also. So it's just basically we just got to capitalize on what we already have.
But you know what else, Smoke?
That's the only way we're going to get out of it.
When you do that, the whole purpose of doing that is to carve a portion of those millions or billions of dollars from that industry.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're saying, the kitchenware is $1 trillion industry, well, let me at least get $500 million out of that then. You see what I'm saying? Because like you said, it's already, the industry's there. You're not dominated. It's not like you're going to be the number one or nothing like that. But guess what? In the black community, you're the number one. Everybody in the black community buys your shit. And you make $500 million a year. Yeah, that's
the portion that you mentioning. The portion that you mentioning, whether it's a little bit inflated or whether it's less than what it could possibly be, that number is going to be more than any government institution going to give the black community. The amount of money that's going to trickle down into black communities if we was participating in a market, like that, the one we use as an example. That would be more than anything they're going to give us. So the benefits of that, the amount of people is going to benefit from the workers, the kids of the workers, the CEOs up there, everybody who's going to benefit off of that is going to be majority black. You don't ever see when they say, we giving $10 trillion to the black community. Shit, you don't put that shit in your pocket. That shit don't ever trickle down to you. But if we have control of something like that, it's like even down to the smallest worker, they're able to take black dollars and put that shit into their family. You know what I'm saying? Down to the smallest worker.
Yeah. And then you already hear all the stories about how nice we are when it comes to tech. And I even read someplace, they're going to talk about how black and Latino, I want to say tech, or whatever, or let's say engineers or whatever, how they're in the field, but it's hard for them to get work. And I always say to myself, that's interesting, because then I wonder. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to say it like that, like I know. You know what I'm saying? Because you know me. I'm from the land of, get it how you live. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're an engineer, this is what I'm thinking in theory, then you should be a creator. You know what I'm saying? A creative or whatever. So just like like basically in a nutshell, what's the point of us getting these talents and shit if we don't know what to do with it outside of somebody else's shit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not saying that
like you gotta,
but yeah,
you gotta throw money at it. So something like an engineer is like, you have somebody who you know they can build robots, but it's like, all right, we want to put you in to design these other robots, but you got to throw money at that. It's just not like he's gonna be able to build the robot. It's like you're gonna need prototypes, you're gonna need equipment, you're gonna need a place to put it, and so it's like, again, it go back to the economy. If people are like me or you was in position, we'll throw the money to him because he looks like us. But it's like if other people's not in that position, they're gonna skip over Jorge and Smoke and Brooklyn B. They're gonna skip over them for the white boy, for the Chinese boy, because there's people that's in that field that look like them that are willing to throw money at them so they can achieve their dream and excel or even come work for their company, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So again, like
and nothing wrong with that
money stream.
And nothing wrong
it's not
with
a knock on it. It's just like that's where we fall at. It's like we got to be able to put the money behind it. With politics, we got to put money behind it, and you know, building industries and talents for kids. You know what I'm saying? You got to put money behind it. Your kid can't just sit in there and learn about computers if he don't got a computer. So you got to buy a computer. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You got to put him in the class. That shit costs. You got to put money into that shit. Investment, basically. That's the word.
Yeah, you got to invest in your child. Instead of, you might have to take off. You can't get that weave. You know, so you can't get your nail done that fucking week. You know what I'm saying? Invest in your child. A lot of people don't see that shit. They don't see their child as an investment. You know what I'm saying? They invest inside your child. Yeah, you know. Oh, right. And that's the whole shit. And it's like we ask the question again. Why the black woman is unprotected? Again, you're unprotected because the whole shit is designed this way. It's designed this way. You don't see Chinese chicks out here getting choked the fuck out. Mexican chicks out here just getting choked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? White chicks out here just getting choked the fuck out. No. But what you seeing? Black women out here being disrespected by other races of people out here. So, okay. So then ask the question why. Ask the question why. Because see, once you're caught up into the system of worker, once you're caught up into that system, and tell me if I'm telling the truth or a lie, Smoke. Once you get caught up into the system of being a worker, black man and black woman, black child, now y'all are in a position of competition with one another because y'all both are workers. So now, if y'all don't work at the same job, then y'all deal with the same stresses of work when y'all come home. Yeah. If anybody lose a job, then it becomes the stress of, you know what I'm saying, all that baggage fall on the other person, because it's not a union. It's an individualistic ideology. You see what I'm saying? It's an individual type shit. It's not you and this person is together and y'all building a family and building a legacy and y'all trying to become this power couple type shit. No, it's not that. It's a you and yours and him and his. And then y'all have children. And y'all need to split shit down the middle and keep shit, you know what I'm saying, type shit. It becomes that little structure, and it's always going to cause conflict. In that structure, black women benefit more than black men in that type of structure. You see what I'm saying? Black women benefit more in that split shit down the line structure, because black men is still held to traditional standards, even in this new system. So if you split it 50-50, that's cool. If she's ever short as a man, you have to look out. But if you're ever short, then you're fucked up. So now you're always caught up into that. You see what I'm saying? You're a broke ass nigga and all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So you get caught up into these weird little traps. You know what I'm saying? So then when this happened, and I always say that it's not the one person. Let's say if it happens to me, right, at 39. Then you got to think about the one that's happening to at 29. Then you got to think about the one that's happening to at 19. You know what I'm saying? Because when it happening to them, then they become, like I'm hearing that at 39, but if you heard that at 19, then how your mind frame going to be when you turn 29 towards a woman? You see what I'm saying? Now by the time you're 29, now you might have an attitude where you're like, I don't trust women. You see what I'm saying? Now you got a resentment now because of these rules now. You know what I'm saying? So the whole point that I'm making is once you don't have that union part where y'all both seeing a vision for the race, like you can't even talk to black, like, and try it if you want, young black kids, and talk to them about racial pride. Because the system got it set up to make them think that they're not supposed to think about uplifting black. That's racist. That's wrong. We're all humans. While every other group uplifts themselves. Every group uplifts them shit like that. And you know what I'm saying? The fucking gays got a big ass shit saying pride. With black people walking around here and shit with no pride whatsoever. We don't even want to be black. You know what I'm saying? That shit crazy. That's just insanity, yo. But like I said, it happens because there's no economy. There's no economy. What's making the black woman look at the black man with pride? What's making the black man look at the black woman with pride? Look how these games and narratives is all set up, Smoke. The Chinese choking out the black woman. The black woman says, "Where's the black man?" The black man says, "We'll step up." So he decides to protest in front of the store. The Chinese lower the price on the weave to 50% off. And a black woman bum rush the protest and go inside the Chinese store for the weave. Black woman is so unprotected. Yeah, no, this is a designed system. And this is the end result. This is the end result. And it's designed like this for workers. If black people had our own economy and we controlled our industry, we controlled our everyday lives and things of this nature, and Chinese couldn't enter our economy, so they had to create their own, they had to try to survive off their own shit and they couldn't, and they had to be workers and work for people, they would be doing the same shit black people doing. If it was Latinos, they would be doing the same shit black people doing. Because if you think I'm lying, go look at the Netflix, the Italian shit they got out, the Fear New York shit or whatever. With the five, New York? Yeah, some shit like that. Yeah, it's about the 5 mafia families that control New York and all kind of shit like that. Yo, when you listen to these, yeah, check it out, right? But when you look at this shit, yeah, check it out, Smoke. But when you look at them and you listen to them talking and all kind of shit, yo, these ain't nothing but fucking. These ain't nothing but fucking. My comparison to them is they're nothing but the Italians ain't nothing but Jamaicans.
Oh, Fear City. Fear City.
Yeah, Fear City. Yeah, Fear City. Yeah, they ain't nothing but Jamaicans. You know what I'm saying? Italians like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're mad. Yo, when you watch
comparisons, like
yo, I'm telling you, watch Fear City.
I gotta watch that.
If you're familiar with Jamaicans and Jamaican culture and shit like that, Italians are for Jamaicans, man. Like, real.
Oh,
man. Yo, these niggas when I tell you that mad ignorant, right? They talk the way they talk, right? The way they talk is not. They talk like that to emulate Italian, the same way Jamaicans are. You know what I'm saying? How when they talking and shit, you be like, "Oh, you Jamaican?" They be like, "Yeah, it's not Watagua," and then you're like, "Oh,
yeah, right."
That's how the Italians are. You know what I'm saying? Like, watch this shit, yo. Yeah, it's the same shit. You know what I'm saying? They'll sit up like, "Yo, you know, forget about it." You know, they talk that shit like they got fucking marbles in their mouth and all kind of shit. Right. So they do that shit because that's their, you know what I'm saying, like yardie man shit. You know what I'm saying, type shit like that. Because again, you got to think about it. You're born in America. You know what I'm saying? You're born in America, so why y'all didn't pick up the American language like everybody else, like the Irish and everybody else? You know what I'm saying? It's because they're holding on to that their own patois. You understand what I'm saying? Their own patois. Because that's all what patois means. Yeah, Creole, that it's the same shit. Their dialect that the Italians do. So it's the same shit. So when you see that, you realize this is conditioning. This isn't people of the highest standards and shit like that. This is low-end conditioning. This is, yo, we on the bottom and we making bottom-end shit cool. So then you start to move in a way that's destructive, and your destructiveness you start to think is power. Because watch, you're going to tie right back into the black women being unprotected, right? Into power. So now you got all these so-called macho men and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Now they walk in the streets or whatever, and what they do? Shooting at each other. So now all these macho men shooting at each other and shit like that, and they dying or they going to jail. So when these macho men are shooting at each other and going to jail, guess what that do to the women? Because if I could talk, because if you want to just keep it black, because you know I was talking about the Italians still, but then I looked at the screen and I said, you know what, let me keep it black. But let's do it with the gangsters in the street, right, Smoke? So these strong gangsters in the street and shit like that, they shooting at each other, you know what I'm saying, killers and shit like that, and they murdering each other and they killing each other, they going to prison and shit like that. Their sons lives with who, Smoke? 9 out of 10.
Mom dukes.
Right? Either the son's mother or the girl's mother. The girl or the girl's mother. You know what I'm saying, living in the house. Oh. So now when these boys grow up, right, and they have a little edge about them, and I'm talking about 6, 7, 8, right? What do the mothers do? They get fearful and they start to abuse these boys. If you're going to keep it real, they start to abuse these boys. And let's say because of their fear, because they're like, you know, they might grow up to be like their fathers. They might grow up to be killers. They might grow up and get murdered. And I don't want to deal with that, so I don't want them to be like this. A lot of that abuse and shit, you're now weakening boys. Now the next generation from him, turn into a boy now who wants to be a girl. You see what I'm saying? Another generation of boys who see a black man get murdered by police named Freddie Gray, and then it's a protest, and then the black boy go out to protest, and then his mother pops him upside his head on national TV. Let's talk about why the black woman is unprotected. Right, Smoke? So, pops the boy upside his head and parade him around on national television talking about how he's never going to protest again. And that's why I'm laughing about these protests and they talking about all these news reporters. Straight emasculated. Yeah, straight emasculated him. All these news reporters talking about they support the protest. I've never seen news organizations say they support a protest. So they straight emasculate this boy. So now when he gets older now and he no longer got that, then the black woman asks him, why am I unprotected? Because you neutering. You stifling. You see what I'm saying? You challenging masculinity. And when you do that, you leave yourself unprotected. You see what I'm saying, Smoke? Nobody left you unprotected. You left the gun in the house and ran outside to jog. The pistol on the table. And then you're going to scream, where's my gun? On the table. You ain't take me. You know what I'm saying? You left me. You can't sit over here now and say why we're so unprotected and we're no. The conditions, that's what caused that. I remember watching black men fight black women, not physically, fight black women because black women in the 90s started to pierce their boys' ears, their little boy ears. Remember that, Smoke? Remember hearing stories like that?
Yeah.
Piercing the little boy's ears, and they was like, yo, I don't want my son's ears pierced and shit. And the girls, but it looked cute on him. And why the black woman's unprotected? Come on, let's talk about it, man. Because this shit ain't just start. This is a long, drawn story. It's a big picture that we got to look at so we can understand where it started, how it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like where the corrosion, because it don't start with smoke and end with smoke. No, the battle that Smoke is fighting isn't the same battle that Smoke child is fighting. Who battle ain't going to be the same as Smoke's child is back. You see what I'm saying, Smoke? Like,
yeah.
This is a continuous battle, and just because I survived it, yo, I got shot 15 times, did 26 years in jail, stabbed niggas and all that shit. I'm still strong. That don't mean your son could have went through that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, how many
you want him to?
No, not whether you want him. Let's say that was required to be a man, right? That was requirement. You came out of that shit. And now you got a son, and you looking at your son, 7 years old, like, nigga, don't just wait. Soon you turn 10, you're going to juvenile, and and it's just like, man, that's not true. I don't want to go through that. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? You end up breaking the child, because now that child's like, I don't want to go through that. I don't want to be a boy. I don't, mommy, put me on a dress, mommy. That's what them Chinese did. When the Japanese were chopping off their heads in World War II, it was two samurais, right? I don't know their names, right? You gotta look that up. Chopping their heads off mercilessly. They had a bet, so it's like Rasta B versus Smoke, and we got a bet who will chop the most Chinese heads off with our swords.
Sure.
And we out here chopping heads, yo. I'm talking 500, 1,000, 13,000 heads type shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you know there's millions of them. Yo, them Chinese men were so scared, yo. Their army, right? They start dressing up as women. They start dressing up as women. You see what I'm saying? So can you imagine a child? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Just because you went through it and survived, that don't mean the rest of your legacy could have went through that shit.
Right.
So as we get weaker and weaker, going through the same fucking turmoil, because again, like you said, would you want your child to go through that, right? Think about how many protests we done went through about police violence and racism in this country and shit. We're going through the same shit over and over again. We're going through the same shits over and over again. So it's like we may not want it, but we're going through it. But every time we go through it and we don't set up protection for ourselves as a race, what the white people or your oppressor wants to do, what he says is this: okay, you went through it? All right, no problem. No. Then let me see a child go through it now. Let me see a daughter go through it now. Okay, all right, let me say their daughters, their sons. Keep going. Let me keep seeing which ones. And that's what they do. Look what they did to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King's legacy. You see what I'm saying? They run them through the ringer. And they say, oh, Malcolm, you got through it? All right, we'll see. Let me see your children. Oh, your children got? No. Let me see your grandchild. Got him. And that's what they do. But we never say to ourselves, how do we protect ourselves as a group? No. Separate ourselves. How do we protect the black man? How do we protect the black woman? How do we protect the black child? Not realizing if we focus on protecting black people, we protect each other as a whole globally. Just like Carlos Cook said in the UNIA message. So I just wonder,
Nothing but good points, man. It's just like you gotta realize the part that we be playing in some of our downfalls. It's like everything ain't the white man's fault. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I get it. There's a lot of shit going on out here, but it's a lot of shit that we can control, and we gotta be honest within ourselves. And sometimes it might be embarrassing, but sometimes you gotta knock everything down so you can rebuild it. And so we gotta be real with us. We gotta be honest with ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Word up. Because you got to. Because at the end of the day,
honesty is a policy.
Yeah, and the reason for that too is because one, you got to start. Once you started, then you're going to keep going, and then you're going to see the shit grow. You know what I'm saying? Two, you're going to realize they're not as powerful as you think. You know what I'm saying? You think they're powerful because you're not fighting back. That's like right now, Smoke. I'm your child, and I'm like, yo, Smoke. I'm at work. I'm at school, and this kid keep throwing the fucking dodgeball at me in my face. And you're like, well, shit, what you doing? No, I'm just standing there. He just keep throwing the ball in my face. Well, you're not even. Are you moving? You ducking? You trying to dodge? like you're not doing nothing. And that's what we got to do. We can't sit there and keep, oh, they racist, they prejudiced, they this, they that. Okay, well then shit. How do you outmaneuver that? And that's the part that we got to learn. How do we outmaneuver? But until next Friday, you'll hear more of this so you can figure it out and look into them Denny's joints or the other stocks that we talked about to get that paper. And shit, that's what we do. You got anything else you got to say, Smoke? Gonna plug in your Cash App? Mine's is blackwadadallc. Go ahead, Smoke. Blackwadadallc.
Yeah, I don't even know what. Let me see. What is my Cash App?
Blackwadadallc. BLACKWADADALLC.
My Cash App is $ Smoke the Dude. I forgot about that. Smoke DA Dude DUD. You heard?
That's
Always
right.
Open.
All right. Peace.
Fling a fire slingshot at the big